Atlanta.
A hurricane or what?
Hey, how's it? You know the rules.
So, why am I sitting back here?
We have to pick someone up.
Who is it?
Well, dude, Hurricane Ian is coming.
Yeah?
They're going to run the final. It's me and Kelly.
So, Kelly is going to meet us here.
Well, Kelly's supposed to meet us here. I don't think he's going to show.
Dude, how could you get Kelly Slater to come here?
Well, we have to surf the final. But I think he's going to shine it because he doesn't want me to win.
Oh.
So I've arranged a Kelly Slater impersonator.
No way.
I found them on Craigslist. Well, actually, my mom found them. And I'm just going to do it anyways. Like, I'm not going to let Kelly get away with it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, here he is.
Is that him?
Yeah.
Oh my God, looks just like
What's up, dude? Come on in.
I'm nervous.
I don't know his name.
Where's he from?
I don't know. Where's he coming?
No, you can go that way. Dude, he seems pissed.
Whoa.
Hey, man.
How's it?
What's up, guys?
Put these on.
Thanks for doing this.
No problem.
I'm Ryan.
Had to break my schedule a little bit.
Here, I'll hold your coffee.
Put this on.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
How's it going? Marshall Alberga.
Marshall
Stunt coordinator extraordinaire.
All right.
Whoa, this is crazy. Maybe we can pour it in here. I'll put the top on.
Okay. This coffee. Oh, my
I
God.
peed in that. How's it?
So, yeah, all is good. Just made the trek out from Hollywood, California.
How long have you been doing this?
2.5 years.
Well, I appreciate you getting to us in such short notice.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So I had the final against Kelly. It was going to be epic. Hurricane Ian's coming.
Yeah.
And it was going to be like the battle of all battles. Like the hurricane, he's dipping out because he doesn't want me to win. I'm hiring you, and we appreciate you coming.
Well, I actually think I might give you an even better run for your money.
Right.
Because, I mean, I'm almost just as good, if not good as Kelly.
Gooder
than Kelly.
Right. Is that why you were $200 a day?
It's actually $233 plus tax. That comes with Kelly impersonation, Kelly surf impersonation.
Right.
I give you everything. I shave my head the day of. Like, I've had people cry. I've actually had Kelly hire me personally when he's like too tired to kind of go to signings or say J-Bay, then I'll actually go down there and I'll surf for Kelly or I'll do his signings and no one even knows. No one knows.
So you've won a couple titles for him.
I'm not supposed to tell anyone, but there's at least 2 or 3 titles that, I mean, if I didn't go down there to Brazil that one year,
right.
You know, a couple different contests, and he definitely wouldn't have clinched it.
Right. Makes sense.
So that's why. So that's why I charge $233 plus tax.
Good money.
It's good money. And then sometimes, like, you just take it to the nth degree, and you're like, yeah, I'll go on a date with you, you know, to the girl, or yeah, I'll, you know, accept, you know, money or
so
prizes.
So you've dated people as Kelly. Did they pay you, or did Kelly pay you?
I've actually dated people for months.
Because they wanted the Kelly Slater experience.
My business is called the Kelly Slater Experience. And what I mean by that is every single thing that he does, I do.
You have to sleep in a wetsuit, pretty much.
Well,
like a white wetsuit.
I usually just sleep in my white wetsuit in case I get a last-minute call. Like in Hollywood, California, things happen quick. I get booked quick. So they're like, hey, come down to Venice Beach. My kid's having a 4-year-old birthday. I'll run down there with a white wetsuit.
Right.
People are freaking out. Girls are crying. It's just like the Elvis in Las Vegas.
So did there. Pamela Anderson hire you?
Pamela Anderson? You want to talk about that story?
You actually did Baywatch for him.
I did a couple scenes.
Right.
Jimmy Slate, Huntington Beach, mid-'90s. It was a wild time. It was a wild time in my life. Me and Hasselhoff we're hanging out. We went down to the...
Y'all got into it, right?
We got into it at the Dirty Bird in Laguna Beach one night. after a few drinks, Hasselhoff started calling me out saying, "You're not as good as Kelly." And I was like, "Hasselhoff, let's go outside." Me and him outside the Dirty Bird. TMZ got photos.
But you gave her the barbed wire tattoo.
I gave Pamela Anderson the barbed wire tattoo. That's not all I gave her. I'll tell you that. But that's another story. But yeah, I gave her. Me and her got drunk one night. She thought I was Kelly. We were out at the
she
Fox.
hired you because Kelly.
Right.
She hired you to fill in.
Right, we were running around like Los Angeles, and people were taking photos of us, and she's like, let's go get tattoos, Kelly." So I actually have a bar.
So she would call you Kelly.
She would call me Kelly because like she knew I was
Marshall,
but like she didn't mind because that's how crazy famous people are.
Ryan, do you want to film in what we're doing?
Film in.
Film in.
So guys, we have a. This is where we got to talk serious. The heat starts in like I think an hour. I've talked to Ricardo.
Mm-hmm.
I've got all the rules here. Basically, we have 4 2-minute heats.
Okay.
All right.
4
Once Sterling finds a spot, Sterling, are we close?
Yeah, I actually missed it. Won't go back.
So we do have a little bit of a time gun. I got to get back to church, but we
Is
have
that why the heats are 2 minutes?
And
so 4 2-minute
4 2-minute
world title heats.
world title heats. So there's a ton of people on the water right now. So I'll try to, you guys will have your jerseys on.
Right.
What color are you wearing?
Black.
Okay, and you're white.
White.
All right, that's pretty much it. So we'll get out there. We'll check it out.
What are judges looking for?
Long rides.
The longest ride.
The longest ride.
You're
None of that short crap.
you're screwed.
So it's not about tricks. It's more about length of ride.
Right. It's all about content and lengthening the clips.
Yeah. They want it as waves as long as possible. The more viewership.
More viewership.
Right.
If we can get out there as soon as possible.
I'm born ready. Sterling looks a little nervous.
Yeah. No, I'm nervous for your loss. So Kelly's been dipping on me for years.
Because he's scared.
Right.
Everyone knows it.
I mean, that's why he lives in Hawaii.
It's like the farthest. When he bought a house in Hawaii, the first thing.
That's why he left Florida.
He goes, I need to get as far away from Sterling Spencer
It's
as
not
I
this state is not big enough for the both of us.
Literally.
I told him that. All right, here's
Dude,
the waves.
it's crowded.
Look at that.
You're done. You're doomsdayed. Oh my gosh.
Whoa, it's
actually-
crowded. Plenty of Holly surfers, but we blow them away.
Really?
All right, let's do this.
All right, boys. Here we go. What did we say? 4 2-minute heats?
You're the boss.
All right, 4 2-minute heats.
Whatever Ricardo told you.
Ricardo said 4 2-minute heats. Like I said, they're looking for length of waves, not tricks.
Length of waves?
Length of rides, not tricks. I mean, you can do tricks if you want, but they just want
They're not counting tricks. Okay.
They just want content, long content.
I'm ready.
Oh.
So.
He does that. I know you're competing, but just be safe out there. Okay?
Yeah. I know I got my brass knuckles in my back
Is there
pocket.
any bonus points?
This is a non-bonus point.
So only fans,
Well, that's just between if you got stuff going on with the judges.
like secret stuff.
All right, guys, shake hands.
Good luck.
Here's your
Kelly.
jersey.
Yeah.
Right there. Here you go, jersey.
When's the heat? Because it takes like 7 minutes to paddle around the buoy. Is that the whole heat?
No, just once I see you around the buoy,
Then
I'll hit
you'll
the
start.
Yeah, then you watch me. I'll wave.
Well, if you win, you're fired. Do you want to lose your job or do you want to win?
All right, guys, good luck.
Thanks.
This is great, guys. All right, guys, let's go. Remember, 2 4-minute heats.
Okay.
Go for length.
Okay.
Sterling, you good?
Yeah, I'm just.
How many times can
There's
you...
a lot of pressure on me right now.
How many points does it take to win?
I don't know.
Okay.
Are you stretching or just whatever happens, man? Know that I love you. That's a pipeline pro.
It's like two lords battling over
Right.
a young damsel, and that damsel is the world title.
All right, let's do this. Let's go.
Alrighty, everyone, we're down at the Gulf Coast World Title Classic. We've got Kelly Slater and Sterling Spencer. Sterling with the first attack. Look how smooth he is. Oh my gosh, he doesn't even care. Kelly with the answers right back with a smooth... oh, something looks wrong. Sterling, look at him go. He's still on this wave. Extra points for length of ride. And he hammers it. Oh my gosh, Kelly's flying down the line. Look at his dong. It's so long. Sterling with a slice into the barrel. He's still in the barrel. Kelly with a nice float. They're going back and forth. Sterling going down the line. He does a big wraparound, sprays the kid in the face. He doesn't even care. Kelly with a nice... Oh, something just doesn't look right. Sterling steals Kelly's board, something we've never seen before. He's in the barrel. He's on a stolen board. What are they going to do? Kelly's very rattled right now. He's serving by the pier. Sterling with a classic backhand smack with another wraparound and a big schwack with the rebound. Oh my gosh. Sterling needs one final score to solidify. He's going down. He's traversing left. He's traversing right. He's flying down the line. Look at the pair. He's going everywhere. He does a backflip and lands on the floater. Oh my gosh. Sterling wins the world title. Classic sportsmanship from the competitors. Thank you, Kelly and Salima.
Yeah.
So we just got back from the heat. How'd it go, boys?
Well,
Good job out there.
we're here. We're in
Because
Pensacola.
it really happened.
You know the waves.
Right.
You gave me a board. Like, of course you're going to win. But it was a hell of a heat. You paddled underneath me on that left,
Right.
and
That's kind of my signature move.
I almost kicked your ass
But
for it.
you didn't want to not get paid.
I need $233.
So, Marshall Alberga, you are... Can I tell people about what happened? Actually really happened.
Back in 06.
Back in 06, Marshall beat Kelly Slater at the Sean Slater Invitational Cocoa Beach Classic.
Dude.
Which your brother was invited to.
My brother was in.
Yancey Spencer III.
How old were you? 18?
I was 18, and
What was it like beating Kelly in Cocoa Beach?
it was a great feeling. It
Were
was
people freaking out?
And this really happened.
This really
yeah.
happened.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you the story. Is I won 14 heats in a row because I had to. I wasn't even invited to the Sean Slater Invitational. I had to
But
surf.
it's an invitational. How'd you...
So I surfed the weekend before.
Like
And
a trials.
Yeah, trials. AAU weird trials. I don't know, $50 entry. I think that was the one that I won. And they're like, hey, can you help us pack up the contest?
Right.
So then because I wasn't like a big deal in Florida. I'm still not. Maybe now. Anyways. Wasn't invited to the contest, but I had surfed a contest the weekend before. I won that contest, and then I went into the Sean Slater, and the waves were smaller.
And you were crushing.
And I just kept winning heats, and then the final was me, Shea Lopez, and Kelly Slater, and I won that heat.
So it was you three?
It was us three.
Dang.
There wasn't
People
four?
forget about Shaylo.
Uncle Shay.
Yeah, it wasn't four. So that was cool. Won $3,850. I don't know why it was that number. It was it was like probably the best day of my life.
What was it like in the final? How big was it?
It was like a southeast wind swell through the weekend. So I remember the day before was like these little rights and against the grain lefts, which I think played into it because I was kind of like
You're a goofy foot.
goofy foot. And then it was like these offshore winds on Sunday, and it just got smaller and smaller through the day. And by the final, it was like knee high. And I was like 18. And
So
I was
you're
like,
small.
I was like 15, 20 pounds lighter than I
You're-
am now.
You had amazing hair,
I had a big head of hair, which probably got
which is in the dashboard right now.
right. Yeah, it definitely got in his mind for sure.
You kept the hair.
I kept the hair because I knew one day, like that's when I signed my soul with the devil. That day I started receding.
Are you calling Kelly the devil?
No, I'm just saying that day I started probably receding.
Do you think
It was
because-
probably a trade-off, you know.
Right.
Do you think
God.
because you beat Kelly, you started losing your hair?
Yeah, I 100% know that actually.
Like you took the ultimate prize for the ultimate payment.
Yes. It's either that or, like you said, Brevard County, because we're near NASA.
Well, that's another one of my theories.
Ryan Hewitson, Dave Spear, all the Slater brothers, you know.
Bald.
CJ
Bald.
Hobgood,
CJ Hobgood.
Bald.
We're all bald.
Philip,
Philip Waters.
the Jones brothers.
The Jones brothers.
Everyone's bald down there.
Everyone's bald.
So all these guys are from Florida.
Well, the Cocoa Beach is where the NASA space
So
shuttle.
they're
flies.
all getting.
They're all getting.
we all
NASA
lost
juice.
it. Everyone
NASA
that's like, if you're a good surfer in Central Florida, you're going bald.
Right.
Dang.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They're all bald. It's crazy.
Poor guys.
And vice versa, if you're a good surfer in Pensacola, you have an amazing head of hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is just weird.
But I'm the only person here.
You're the only. Are you the only pro surfer to ever come out of Pensacola Beach?
Your dad.
My dad.
Right. Was Yancey ever pro?
He was semi-pro.
Right. Kind of like a Ben Gravy sort of thing. Like he got a bunch of clothes.
Well, he was on Singled Out on MTV.
When he lived with Blink-182.
When he lived with Benji and Blink-182.
That's legendary.
Yeah. So, yeah, Yancey was the first Ben Gravy.
Right. Semi-pro. Well, it's a beautiful town. And
So there's no other pros out of Pensacola, Sterling?
Like in the Gulf Coast.
Right.
There's Shay and Corey Lopez.
right.
I'd say
are they bald?
It was my dad.
No, they kept
But they
their
live
hair.
in Tampa.
Oh, see.
See?
They live actually north of Cape Canaveral. So the current runs south. The NASA, the chemicals and shit,
Oh.
they must run south because
Right.
no one in New Smyrna is bald.
Well, all the
And-
Northeasterns pull down.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's kind of this like hatred. You're going bald, and it kind of drives you, or is it just
Is that why all of y'all are so good?
because
Well,
you're pissed off?
When you go bald, and I've been through this before, you gotta be manly AF. You gotta brush your teeth a lot. You gotta do a lot of push-ups. You just can't be a little biatch when you're bald. You
Right,
know, you gotta
right.
like maybe make more money to get girls. You gotta like do a lot of things.
You got to go extra.
You gotta go a little extra because you
'Cause-
can't let it bring you. You get dealt these cards in life,
Yeah.
and you gotta play them. And so I actually got more confident when I bicked my head.
Do you think that's why Kelly won so much? Same philosophy? He's like,
Ye-
I got to brush my teeth more. I've
Yeah.
got to stay tan.
I think it drove him, and all honestly, in the very back of his mind, it was probably one of the driving factors.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care if I'm going bald because I'm winning world titles.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so that it really might have been deep down there. We all have different things that drive us. Stuff
So
like that.
when you guys tell the story about when you guys got into a little fight.
Well, we've known each other since 10 years old.
Gotta be.
NSSA's on the East Coast. And why don't you tell the story? When we first met.
Well, Sterling's dad was super committed to getting them to all the contests. A lot of the surf contests were in my hometown in Melbourne Beach, Florida. So the Spencers would show up at the surf contest in Melbourne Beach, Florida, with this van.
A giant van.
Giant van, and on one side is like Yancey Spencer doing like an off the lip. On the other, big huge decal, and on the other side, Sterling doing an off the lip. And you're like,
I'm doing like an air.
You're doing like an air. It's like psychological warfare. I know what you guys are doing.
So that, you being a young kid, you saw that and you're like, whoa, this guy's gnarly.
This
This guy's on a van.
And then the thing was, I went across the country
This guy's on a van.
into San Clemente, California, which is literally the other side of the country in Florida. I'd see the same van.
Yeah, we would drive
700 miles away.
And I'm going, who are these guys? And so I got to know him. I think we had some heats. There was one day, down at Lower Trestles. We were 10 years old.
Right.
They had the open mini grom division.
I was 12, you're 10.
Yeah, he was like 2 years older than me, which when you're...
Still.
That's a big deal.
You mean when Sterling's 12 and I'm 10, that's like he's a lot bigger than me. And
Like 2 inches.
like way bigger and older. And
Right.
yeah, they set up this little wrestling ring down on the beach at Lower Trestles.
Yeah, you would win a backpack. And
Whoever
they would
would
make kids who wrestle
fight.
each other fight for
Right.
it.
And like
the
the surf
weirdest
surf reps for sure were like, kill each other, groms. Like,
Yeah.
this is late 90s, early 2000s when the surf industry was booming. Like they had so much money.
They're
They
like,
didn't-
we can let kids hurt each other.
They didn't even know what to do with it, dude. They had a wrestling ring down at Lower Trestles on the beach.
Sand pit.
Sand pit. The thing is, dude, there's all these cobblestones right under the rocks.
Right.
I mean, right under the sand. At
Right.
Lower
I
Trestles.
didn't know that.
Yeah, but the thing is, Sterling picks me up, slams
I grabbed you
me
by your crotch and went,
like a WWE SmackDown. I got the wind knocked out
your
of me.
feet, like,
I did a scorpion, and like all the older surf reps were like, "Ha!"
yeah.
They're like, "You deserve it," and I'm like, and
But you fell on the cobblestone.
I fell on the
Hurt your back.
cobblestone and like bruised my back, and like that's my first.
and that's why
impression.
you've walked the way you do since.
Since then, I've had a tweak.
So do you remember doing that, Sterling, and feeling great?
I totally forgot about that. And then when I saw you in Hawaii, it reminded me. And then I remember there was a commercial where,
It was Mike Latronic.
yeah,
Used to film like the
and it used to be, that clip used to be.
It's in it somewhere?
the clip was in his intro to his show.
Right.
So every time you saw Marshall just getting slammed.
Can we find it?
Definitely.
We could message.
We gotta find that clip.
It's an old. I remember, and I was like, "That was me," because I had a big old.
We have
mop.
footage of you body slamming him somewhere on
Yeah,
this planet.
20 years ago.
You think it's on YouTube?
It's probably on YouTube.
We'd have to message Mike.
Mike Latronic's a great dude. He
He's a
lives.
ledge.
He owns Free Surf Magazine,
Yeah.
and he's been in the surf world forever. You know, filming and covering like the surf contest.
Right.
So he used to film. We used to have this saying, "Got to be on it like Mike Latronic."
Well, Sterling was kind of an alpha dog back then.
Yeah,
He kind of ran the streets.
he's been gnarly. He peaked a little bit later in life, but he always had a lot of sponsors and a lot of boards.
That's the measure of a man.
Surfed amazing
When
on
I was a
small
kid,
waves.
yeah, it was like my dad raised me to be like this alpha.
Right.
Right.
Right, yeah, you kind of were like Jeremy Johnston, kind of like a dick.
You were sponsored by Lost, right?
Yeah, I kind of didn't really disappear out of the surf world, but that was at the same time you were like really starting to peak.
I was climbing the ranks.
You were climbing the ranks,
East Coast champ.
swift and
National.
fast. This was like when you were almost like hanging out with like when you showed Andy Irons like a MacBook Pro for the first time.
So my 20s.
Yeah, I'm like 20. I'm going into like I moved to Jackson when I was 21, so you were
Okay,
probably
yeah.
23.
Wait, so you showed Andy Irons his first MacBook Pro.
No, yeah,
So what happened is
This is a good story.
it is.
I was in J-Bay doing the Billabong Pro, and so like at the house on the hill, it was always pros in the top, groms in the basement,
Right.
and the refrigerator is in the basement. So I got my first MacBook, and like I guess he's never seen a computer. He's only seen computers plugged up.
Right. You never seen one in action.
You've never seen a laptop.
Yeah, it was the first like laptop he saw. So I'm like a kid, just like
You were kind of a nerd back then, like
Yeah,
a surf nerd.
I have these glasses on.
Same ones.
And he's like getting beers, and he's like, "Oh, Grom, what you doing?"
Right.
And,
It's perfect.
and I'm like, what I was doing is I had a Photoshop for the first time, and I was like, "Come over and see." And he's like, "What is that?"
Right.
I'm like, "This is a computer."
Right.
And he's like, "How?" I'm like, "It's called a laptop."
Right.
And he's
It's
like,
blown away.
he was totally blown away. And so I had Photoshop up, and I had a picture of Kelly's face,
Right.
and I took off his face
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
put it on the horse body or a seagull's body.
And he was blown away.
And when I like unclicked and popped it in,
Right.
he like his mouth dropped, and he like slowly looked at me. He's like, "Can we make more?"
It was like black magic.
It was like in the movies when the music turns on, and it's just like I
Right.
start photoshopping,
Right.
and he's printing them out, he's passing them out. He's like, "Here." So, and we're at the contest. This is when they were competing for the title,
Right.
and I was surfing against Kelly in the first heat.
Uh-huh.
And so Andy's like, "Dude," he's like telling me everything I need to know to beat Kelly. And
Right.
so we were printing out these pictures of Kelly on a seagull body, and it was secret. He was like, "I'll go over there and I'll post it over there." He's like, "Shh."
Classic.
Because Kelly was known for messing with people.
Right. Mentally.
Yeah,
Before
so,
his heats.
so this for Andy was like, "Dude, this
Right.
is how we're getting him back."
Right.
And so like Kelly would see him, he's like, "Who is this?"
I think it got in his head a little bit.
Well, that's what he was going for. So Andy was like, "You have to catch the first wave of the heat." Like Kelly hates that.
Right.
No way.
So I paddled way up the point, and
This is at J-Bay.
at J-Bay,
Right-hander.
and my first heat, and
It's funny, real quick, though, because you're the Florida guy, and
Right.
you're like, Kelly Slater is like our hero. We
Yeah,
looked up to him, and then
for
like
sure.
you make it all the way to J-Bay, and you're like, all of a sudden you got Andy Irons in your corner, like telling
yeah, it was
you-
like flipped.
it was like flipped. So anyways,
I thought I was gonna be like Kelly's Grom, but it
right.
like switched.
but he didn't really like talk to you much when you're
Well, Kelly was just so world
Focused.
title, you know,
Right.
like he was on like his 8th world title.
no
at the
time
time.
for Grom, Florida Groms. But
Yeah.
Andy,
Well, I think he was nervous because it was small,
right?
and
He might have just lost to
He's
me,
like, "Oh, I'm gonna I could lose to a 17-year-old
Right.
grom.
Right.
So he was super serious, and Andy's like, "You can do this." So I paddle way up the point, and here comes the set, like exactly the way Andy told me to. I like did everything he said. I'm like, here I go. And all of a sudden, Kelly,
Just
out of my periph, I turn, and his nose is, it nicks the tip of my nose, and his eyes are so blue.
right.
And he's looking straight in my eyeballs, and he's like, "You going left?" And J-Bay's a perfect right-hander. There's no left.
So he's messing with you.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?" And
You're like, no.
I like look left. I'm like, should I?
He stalled you for half a second.
So when I get on the wave, I'm like, what?
So nervous.
What does he mean? And I could see his head like, "You going left? You going left? Going left?" And I'm like, trying to hit the lip. And J-Bay's so hard to ride. Like,
Super trippy.
it's so windy. The devil winds in my face. I'm like, all I see is Kelly's face, like swirling, going left, going left.
So he said that on purpose?
Yeah, he was psyching me out.
Dang.
He's
And
notorious.
Andy said, "Get ready," but
gonna-
I wasn't ready for that.
He was this. You weren't ready for him to be like this.
His nose, the hair is like
just.
tickled,
Yeah.
and his lips were like almost
He almost kissed you.
Going left?
But his eyes are so blue, so like all I could see was blue eyes when I was
Like on the wave.
surfing. You know,
Right.
like you say pink elephant and you see
Right.
it. It was the same thing.
Oh my gosh. I wonder how
So
many
did you get-
competitors have seen that same face.
So you got the first wave, though, right?
I got the first wave, but I surfed terrible. And it was so small, no waves came in. So like maybe if I would have like crushed that wave, I might have won.
Right.
Dude, that's the difference between Kelly and the rest.
So I remember coming in, and there's a famous North Shore quote at the end of the movie. Rick Kane to Larry Hampton, he's like, "We both know who really won out there."
You and I know who really won out there, don't we? Idiots.
And I said that to him, and I just remember he's like dripping wet and like so serious. He's like, "What?"
He couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it's hard to get that guy to break, dude. He's like
What?
always
And he was in the white wetsuit.
right. He was like a god.
This was like prime Andy and Kelly.
Right.
And I remember like going in, and Andy's like pissed, and I remember Kelly did the strangest thing. I like had my wetsuit up, hung,
Mm-hmm.
and the bottom of the wetsuit was flipped up, which can hold water.
Right.
And he was like, "Good heat out there," and he's like, "Oh, let me get this," and he like flipped the wetsuit down
For you.
for me, and the water like dripped out,
Uh huh.
and he was like, "I did that for you." And so then I was like, "Oh, okay." And like I remember walking off, and I came back, and it was flipped back up, and I'm wondering if he flipped it back up.
Right.
Like, no, actually,
Right.
keep this wetsuit
Right.
wet.
No, it's the little things. It's the little things. Yeah, he seems to always have his guard up just a little bit, and you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
anytime you say hi to him, he's just kind of like he's not. I mean, I think when you're that famous and you've always had people coming at you, you gotta like kind of like.
Yeah.
He's not gonna let anyone take stabs at him.
I feel like there's a lot of haters too, like being
he's-
that successful.
Totally. He's dealt with them, so he kind of always
He has
has
to be ready.
He has to be ready. But for me, I'm just like, "What's up, Uncle Cal's? Good to see
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Like,
Uncle
how's your
Callie.
mom? How's your brother? How's Florida?" And he's like, "Hey, Marshall. See you later."
See you later. That's all he does.
If Kelly had hair,
He'd
He'd be the president.
he might be like, yeah. No, he would
he'd
be
be the president.
like the Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. Like
It's like the one thing that kept him human.
it's the one thing that leveled him out.
First time I met you, I was doing my surf lessons on the North Shore, and I guess you live on the streets?
What? You don't like cruising with Uncle?
Not. I wouldn't say live on the streets, but I am the streets.
You run the streets?
But I run the streets, and
You were like snapping on me.
One big movie star, huh? What? You know the rules.
Like,
well,
I didn't know it was your island.
if you come,
You put in a lot of time.
exactly. I put in enough time,
And I was doing surf lessons, making a ton of money off
it
pros.
just got to me, and so you came out to my island, and you had rode by on your bike, and
Yeah.
I just snapped. There's something in me that snapped like a rubber band,
You don't like cruising
Yeah.
with
and
Uncle?
I heard.
I freaked out, dude. I couldn't believe that you would come all the way out there to my island and not give me a shout, dude. We have so much history,
Right.
and
Well,
it
I
just
forgot.
it cut deep.
Yeah. I
So-
thought you were dead.
No, dude, I've been living in
I
the
didn't
bush.
see you in Florida, so I was like, you must be dead.
So he got mad at you?
He was like, what? What? Can't hang with uncles.
Yeah, like I
But
said.
then I took you under my wing and changed your life. You and I were cruising and then this chick was following us.
this girl kept following.
Like I was
Sterling.
teaching skate lessons at one time.
Right.
And she was like in the trash can waving to me, and I was like, whoa, this is like,
Right.
she's super trashy, but
Well, Sterling's got like you know how Backstreet Boys had those crazy girl fans? Like that's what you have.
On
So
the North Shore.
yeah, that girl,
Mark,
and that's
yeah.
nothing new. Froho's on the North
She
Shore.
hopped in my car once.
Are you really a pro surfer?
I was like on a pipe, and she's like trying to like get me to take her to the Volcom House.
You need to get crazy. Are we ever gonna make it down to the Volcom House?
Do you have any advice for like pros wanting to go pro on the North Shore of Hawaii? Like you moved to Hawaii and made it.
Yeah, so
Not too many people have done that. Like any advice for the groms that want to go to Hawaii and make it, like we did.
yeah, the first thing you do is you show up and you make everyone food and cookies
Ooh.
because they eat a lot. Like they're big people.
Hmm.
Like, you know, a lot of
Hawaiians.
Hawaiians and just a lot of the surfers on the North Shore. They're big, jacked up dudes. So what I did is I went there. I
Big.
baked a bunch of little goodies, cakes and cookies and whatnot. And I went around to every team house and I gave them pastries.
That's how you made it.
And then they loved me after that.
So it's nothing to do with surfing. Cookies.
It absolutely has nothing to do with surfing.
And you put Molly in the cookies, right?
And I put Molly in the cookies, and like everyone on the North Shore loves me. It's crazy.
That's what I figured.
You just got to make everyone pastries and maybe put a little Molly in them. Everyone's going to love you. That's a great way, not only for the North Shore, but any community.
What's your experience with that? What have you done to earn
For
love?
Hawaii?
Yeah.
Well,
Surf lessons.
I had to learn the hard way once.
Let's hear it.
Well, I was walking up to Pipe for the first time.
Wow.
And I was with Jordy Smith and
Legends Club.
maybe Eric Geiselman, Tonino
If you
Benson.
drop something, it's a name.
So we're walking up, and we were like walking to Jerry Lopez's house,
Right?
and all of a sudden we hear this, "Hey, you know the rules," and we were like, "What?" And we couldn't see anything. We just heard this voice. So we just like keep walking. He's like, "Hey, you know the rules," and we're like looking at each other like, "What?" And we see these like little hands
Gollum.
on the fence, and this head pops out. He's like, and it was this guy Braden Diaz, who's like at the time the gnarliest pipe guy, and he's super short. So he grabbed on the fence and pulled himself, and he's like, "You know the rules," and we were like, "Huh? What? What are the rules?" And we were like looking at each other. What's the rules? What's the rules? What's the rules? And we don't know what to do. And Jordy's like, we don't know actually. He's like, and Braden's like, "What? You talking back to me?" And Jordy's like, and I'm like, "I don't know what to do.
Wait.
I don't know the rules." And
The rules were what? Don't come in the house? That's the rules?
well,
Because there's still rules.
we're like kept asking. He's like, "Hey, you know the rules?" And we just stopped talking.
Right.
And then when we stopped talking, he was like, So what
The moral of the story is
Don't talk.
keep your mouth shut.
that's a big one.
Be
in
humble.
Hawaii.
Don't come to Hawaii. Because we were like the Groms, right? Jordy, Tonino. And like, so we were like,
Yeah.
I think he saw us kind of like, we're checking pipe, like we're the Groms. And
Right.
he was like humbling us.
Right.
Like he was the guy.
Well, I've heard like my friend Kalani Chapman would say he'd just be hanging out around the Volcom House with like Braden Diaz, and he'd just go, "Drop and give me 20." And you just have to do 20 push-ups for Braden Diaz.
Right.
And if you didn't, you get like smacked.
Yeah.
So that was that same era. He wasn't just going to let you guys walk down the trail at Pipe and just get away with it without a little bit of,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference when I grew up going to North Shore. Like, it really straightened me out. Like,
Learned about respect.
yeah, like you couldn't just like go out and take whatever wave you want. You had to wait.
Right. Right.
Like when I go now, like there's 200 kids just like sitting on the peak.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you can do this now? This
Yeah.
is insane. Like when I was a kid, I would literally get backhand. I watched like friends of mine literally just get smacked
Right.
in the face, like grown men just smacking kids. But I thought it was good. It's like a little harsh, but
Yeah.
I felt like our generation like learned respect and like.
I think I'm never going to condone violence, but I think there is something to be said about,
Only takes once to learn.
putting people in their place.
Right.
And, yeah, it was a hard place back then, man.
Like when I started V-Lane when I was a kid, like, like Perry Dane and like those guys, I was like, whoa. Like I would just be like, "Send hut," like sit like quiet, like
even
and they
now,
go by and you're like,
right. I mean, Hawaii, it's like a humble place. Like even now, I try to, I just try to keep a little more of a low profile. Yeah. Like in general, you don't really drive around like blaring your speaker in your truck or like.
We're not Hawaiian.
It's not our place to do that.
Yeah, we let them.
They want to do that.
Let them dictate. Like it's like their island.
The quieter you are, the longer you're gonna last in Hawaii.
But
the more lessons you're learning.
But if you give respect, like they start loving you, and then you can like be silly. Like winter last year, we were being super silly, but like they love fun. Right, the Hawaiians
for sure.
But it's just like don't just like stomp. Don't like take their Crocs.
Right. Well, those are Itelo's Crocs.
Right. So I can take them.
No, you can definitely.
But I'm gonna give them back.
We all hope. He's wondering.
So are you now allowed to tell people the rules?
Me?
Are you allowed to give that to people now?
People are constantly asking me like, "What is the rules?" And to me, it's the same philosophy as Braden Diaz. If I have to tell you,
you don't know them.
You don't freaking know them. It's like.
I like it.
It's more of like an inner thing, like
right. He's like, just think about it, groms. It was a gray. It was in between the lines, sort of thing.
Right. That's
there
deep.
Technically is no rules, but there is in the sense of like fundamental values.
Right.
So
that's what he was saying.
So that's what I learned.
Yeah. Right. You can't just walk down the pipe trail with all sponsored
giggling.
up.
We were all sponsored up. Giggling. And we were like trampling on whatever we wanted. Like
you thought
being loud.
Yeah. That's the thing is you got to actually have a certain decimal level when you're even looking at the waves at pipe.
Yeah.
You get over a certain decimal level, everyone's going to look at you and you're like,
oh crap.
You just got to keep it mellow.
And we would never ever cut anyone off, and now so many people are getting hurt because everyone's going for the same wave, and like, so I think it did keep things safer. Like I remember Claw, like he was like really managing the lineup, and it like worked.
Paid
it
off.
Helped. It kept people safe, even though now like violence is so frowned upon, but like
it kind of worked. Yeah,
a little smack here and there.
Yeah, I mean totally. You don't want anyone like getting like super hurt, but I think
you don't want like a Will Smith.
Yeah. You don't want like but it goes a long way, and
the Will Smith thing that happened in the surf world like every day.
Yeah, at least it was a normal thing.
Like that, I remember hearing like all the big dogs getting smacked. Like
Nick Fanning got smacked.
Yeah, everyone got smacked. It's like, but in Hollywood, like
it's like,
oh, you can't smack someone on stage.
Right? No, that was BS.
Put me to work.
So we got to pinch my clips. Send your clips in to pinchmyclips@gmail.com.
All right. These kids, they have no idea what's about to happen. I'm about to blow minds. I'm about to make babies. All right. I want to know. Whoa. Yeah, that was sick. Whoa, did you see that, senorita? No problem. I got some more apples for you. Bam! Got 'em. Oh, back in my days, I used to boogie over this whole friggin' cruise ship. Now they pay me $20 an hour. I knew I'd be on top. And
Kelly's got to go.
All right. Uncle Marsh, thank you
Sterls,
for coming, brother.
welcome. Ryan,
I'm gonna
legend.
I'm gonna send us out in a meditation if you want to cross your legs. And Ryan's got to get back to church.
How's it? Thank you for watching Pinch My Salt, the hit podcast of the world's #1 surfer, Sterling Spencer. You know the rules. Subscribe and tickle that like button. Pinch My Salt.